What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and interesting news coming out. Now, we've already seen a lot of Winnie the Pooh crazy decisions when it comes to video games. Just about every major Western release has some form of change or improvement, as the red curtain would call it. Most recently, we saw Animal Crossing getting banned. But now it looks like there's going to be a ban on online gaming with any foreigners. Interesting. Now, I will have to say this, and I'll say it again. My problem is not with the people in this nation. Of course it isn't. They're living under the rules just like we live under our rules here in the United States. But by and large, I strongly dislike almost every single decision that comes out of China in relation to everything. They pour more pollution into the planet than any other nation. They have continued to operate some just appalling human rights violations that everyone just turns the other cheek and buys their cheap crap because cheap crap. I strongly dislike Chinese-made products for this reason, and whenever I can and whenever it's affordable, I avoid them. That's just my reaction to it. Now, I don't know how legitimate this is, because you would think this is would be bigger news, but I only found 2 websites covering it. China to ban online gaming, chatting with foreigners outside the Great Firewall. Say goodbye to your guildmates in China as the CCP extends its political censorship to the online gaming world. Wouldn't want anyone informing your citizens. Taipei News. After blocking a popular Nintendo game, Animal Crossing, the CCP is taking its political censorship to the extreme by disconnecting Chinese online gamers from their guildmates outside of China. On April 10th, China banned the popular social simulation video game in which gamers can create a home and interact with cute animal villagers, owing to Hong Kong pro-democracy activist Joshua Wong revealing a customized scene in the game which reads "Free Hong Kong" and mocks Chinese leader Jinping, or, well, Winnie the Pooh. Several other players found leveraging the game to vent their discontent with the CCP and making satirical content related to their failure to tackle the COOF. The regime is said to have noticed an authority vacuum in online multiplayer games. So what this really means is its citizens are getting informed, and they don't like that. They prefer to control the news. They do control the media, and they will report whatever they want. And I guess it's not all that different than the United States, except the media is a literal extension of the political party in charge. Here in the United States, they're just bought and paid for. Both suck. Which enables people to freely socialize, multiplayer games, without monitoring. Local metro polices are scrambling to draft laws to expand the scope of online censorship in video games and even prohibit gamers from meeting and chatting with people on the other side of the Great Firewall, according to LTN, which cited news from a Chinese gaming forum. One-player online games will also be subject to surveillance, as a real name mechanism is going to be implemented in China, which means anything you do online will be tied back to you. They remove all anonymity. This is to enact the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. This is... Remember this. Remember this when Blizzard tells you that everybody wanted Diablo Immortal. And remember this when Blizzard continues to bend the knee to that Chinese money. Look, these companies were making hundreds of millions of dollars without the Chinese market. Yes, they can make billions with it, but at the same time, the Western customers are getting more aware of the changes in services that we are being forced to accept. If you just look at how much of our modern cinema is owned by Chinese companies, it would shock you. All right, Tencent, among others, are so deeply invested in Western cinema. Changes get made to our films during their release in the West that are bending the knee to China. And also, obviously, major changes getting done to these films for release in China. Nobody here None of the blue-haired people on Twitter are upset that they hid a black man, John Boyega, in the back of the movie poster in China. If they had done that here in the United States, if there was, for example, a different version of the poster in, let's say, white neighborhoods, and they put the black guy in back, white suburban neighborhoods, there would have been a huge outrage. All right. But it doesn't matter when money's involved. This is exactly why I don't subscribe to this type of thinking. Most of these people that pretend to be offended by things, look at what happened to Jerry Lawler the other day. He made a joke, and all these, you know, by the power of white people, I'm offended. Nobody cares. The rest of us are just trying to get on. Anyway, one-player games will be subject to surveillance as a new real name mechanism is going to be implemented. Also, the new law will not allow for zombies and plagues, map editing, role-playing, as well as organizing a union in games. Regulations which are believed to be inspired by sensitive content made by Joshua Wong. As the CCP's audacious global propaganda campaign to silence critics abroad to defend its infallibility fails to work out, and the new law is expected to block Chinese people from learning how the world is reacting to Beijing handling of the coup and subsequent cover-ups. Other rules under the new law are less political. They include online gaming curfew, 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. Are you kidding? I don't even log on to my game until 10 o'clock at night. For gamers under the age of 18, and a maximum amount of money they are allowed to spend in games to combat internet addiction. I'm sure there won't be workarounds for this. I mean, just think of the level of control that these citizens are giving their government. It's insane. I talk about the civil liberties eroded by our government right now in the time of the coup and how willing people are to accept that. This is on another level. Imagine if they told you, if you got a letter from daddy government and said, sorry, can't watch Netflix past 10 p.m. Sorry, you're using too much bandwidth. Sorry, you're spending too much of your own money online. Sorry, we don't want you playing this game. Sorry, we don't want you talking to anybody else in any other nation. And if you look at this, will China's Wanda Group bail out AMC theaters? The conglomerate AMC's largest shareholder issued a statement in Beijing dismissing talk of the theater chain's possible bankruptcy as pure rumor. By the way, this was reported by a Wall Street analyst downgrading the stock's value, as I reported just the other day. It isn't rumor. Sparking questions about whether it could step in to execute a rescue. The emerging narrative on Wall Street about AMC Theaters, North America's largest American cinema unit, is the company is on the brink of bankruptcy amid everything going on right now. The theater's chain's hefty debt load is trading at highly distressed levels, and analysts have sounded the alarm that AMC has minimal liquidity to make it through everything, recommending investors sell off stock before the exhibition giant files for Chapter 11 protection. One especially interested party, however, has expressed disdain for that estimation. Dalian Wanda Group, the Chinese conglomerate that has been AMC's largest shareholder since a historic $2.6 billion cross-border buyout in 2012. Most every cinema you see owned by China money. Most every movie that comes out of Hollywood, funded by Chinese money. Remember this stuff. Remember this stuff when Activision Blizzard says, oh, they would have done the same thing here in America. Oopsie doopsie poopsie. We get huge money from China and Tencent and NetEase. These companies are all willing to trade the civil liberties of their consumers in these nations in exchange for profit. And while that's probably not that different than most nameless, faceless, evil corporations, these are ones that we can choose to not buy their products. Video games are not required. There's a million different ones we can all buy and make different choices. I don't have to play World of Warcraft if I don't like what Blizzard did and how they handled the Hong Kong situation. You don't have to play Animal Crossing. Although, granted, Animal Crossing, that's not a good example. Blizzard's a better example. Any companies that pander, you don't have to go see Disney movies when they have Tencent as an investor on their pre-movie banners, making changes to films like Mulan to please the Chinese market, so the people in West get a worse product, so they don't offend their Chinese overlords. The recent online media speculation that Wanda's AMC is filing for bankruptcy is pure rumor. Wanda said in a statement Tuesday on its Chinese language website after hours that the New York Post reported that AMC's executive team was in talks to hire bankruptcy lawyers. Who do I trust? Ooh, God, I have to choose between Wall Street and China. Good Lord. This truly is a D-bag, a giant douche or a turd sandwich. The statement out of Beijing reunites the urgent question for AMC shareholders and industry watchers alike. Could Wanda be headed by mercurial billionaire Wang Yinlin move to execute a last-minute rescue? AMC Entertainment, led by CEO Adam Aron, is the world's largest theatrical exhibitor by screen total. Well, sure. I'm sure China would be happy to give AMC more money in exchange for more power. That's how it works. They come along, they buy up struggling companies, they inject a bunch of cash, and then they control the messaging. Now, I'm not saying that they're in there, you know, passing subliminal messages to people, but I'm saying that they're making changes to movies in Hollywood before they ever come out. They control the screens that movies play on. Don't you think that if something came out that made them look bad, that perhaps they would have the power to make that video not available? This is just, you know, the beginning of having China banning Animal Crossing New Horizon after users began supporting Hong Kong. Are you kidding me? I mean, this is insane. What individual users, and you could see, you know, the imported version of Animal Crossing is basically just a Japanese or NA or EU version imported into China. It can be purchased. Online realtors like Taobao, mom and pop game stores in China that imported it. Animal Crossing does not have approval in China, and there isn't an official Chinese version of the game. But that doesn't stop people from buying it, and the game has become extremely popular in China. Even places like Shanghai Fire Department use Animal Crossing to create some in-game messages. Everybody's using it, and they can't stop it. And I support civil disobedience, especially when it means buying more video games. Well, a lot going on over there. All I can say is I strongly dislike Winnie the Pooh. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.